First thing I did was check on the kids. Went to each one of their rooms and didn't see anything. I went into our bedroom and my wife's sitting up. She's got the lamp on, reading the Bible, and I looked at her and said, "Hey, look, I know we're in the middle of a fight, but I just saw this big orb, this ball of light fly behind the house." You can tell she didn't really know what to think, but she didn't like, I guess she kind of believed me. I mean, from the way she reacted, she didn't blow it off or anything. She said, "Well, I don't know. The only thing we can do is pray about it." And that hit me, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, she's right. It doesn't matter how many guns or swords or whether I know how to fight or what. I mean, it's an orb. What am I going to do? And the only thing I knew to do, even after she said that, was pray. That was my only option. So I prayed, for God to protect us. And I didn't know what this thing was, but it scared me. I know that. And as I'm praying, I get done and I realize, damn, this is my family. I can't leave my family. It doesn't matter what we have to do. We've got to fix this. They are mine to protect. Got done. I walked out. It sounded like there was something on the roof. This roof. So I ran back outside again and I looked up on the roof and I did not see anything. By this time, it's almost completely dark. I went back inside. I went and sat down on the couch and turned the TV on. I wasn't sitting there maybe 5 minutes. My wife screamed my name. And it was gut-wrenching, like terror, like an alligator had a hold of her leg or something. So I jumped up. I screamed, "What?" And as I'm jumping over the back of the couch, and I ran back to the bedroom, and she's sitting up. She's got the covers pulled up under her chin, the lights on. She said, "I saw it." I said, "You saw what?" She said, "I saw what you saw, except it was really small." And then she said that she put the Bible down, turned the lamp off, grabbed the covers, went to pull them up over her, and off to her right, about 2 feet away, the orb appeared. She said it was about as small as a pea, like a green pea, and it was as bright as the end of a lit cigarette when you take a drag off of it in a dark room. So it was really bright. And when she screamed, it disappeared. So I was like, wow, I'm not going crazy. But the fear level went up. I went and got the kids out of their bedrooms, put them in bed with my wife. Had all the lights on in the house. Kind of walked around, waiting for something to happen. Nothing happened. I put the kids back in bed. Probably about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, I went to go to sleep. I think the lights were already out. I went and got in bed, grabbed the covers, went to pull them up over me, and just like she said, the orb that I saw outside, except for smaller, appeared to my left, on my side of the bed, maybe 2 feet away. And I turned and kind of smacked her on her butt, her leg, whatever, and said, "Hey, it's back," and turned back and it was gone. Turned the lights back on and went through the whole process, got the kids back in bed with us, turned all the lights on, and eventually fell asleep like that. But it was shocking. Never experienced anything like that before. None of the Bigfoot stuff had happened. I'd never seen an orb. I'd never seen a UFO. I'd never seen anything. But throughout that week, during the day, I would see it out of the corner of my eye. It looked like it was coming in and out of the fireplace. And this is, middle of summer. There's no fire in there. But every time I would turn, I'd see it out of the corner of my eye, and I'd turn and it'd be gone. I think that happened maybe 3 different times over the course of a week. A week goes by, my wife, she's still freaked out about this, so she decides she tells me, she's like, hey, I got to go downstairs and get some stuff for work. Will you stand at the top of the stairs? I'm like, yeah, I will. So she goes downstairs, gets whatever she wants. I'm standing at the top. She's walking back up. She gets about halfway up the stairs, and that orb, same size, little bitty pea size, appears right above her head, about a foot above her head. And as she's stepping up the stairs, takes about 3 steps, it stays perfectly above her head and goes up with her. Now, I did not say a word. By this time, I was more intrigued than scared. I also knew if I said anything to her, she would probably break a leg trying to get away from it or want us to move out of the house. So I waited about 6 months before I said anything to her. But I wound up contacting MUFON and actually making a MUFON report. And I talked to a guy, I guess he was over Georgia, and explained everything to him. And he said, you know, man, it really, to me, sounds more spiritual than anything else. And I got to thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, you know, I think the guy's right. I don't know how long it took me, but I eventually realized that I was leaving that next day. I was going to leave. That was the end of my marriage in my head. If that orb would not have shown up, odds are I would be divorced right now. When this happened, it opened something up inside of me that allowed me to see the world for what it is. I finally understood how God works, how all the bad things that happened in our lives actually happened for a reason, that prayer does work, that God was paying attention, and that he does intervene, and that all the decisions I had made over the past couple of years of the anger and the pain and everything, of all the loss, despite every bit of that, God was still there. He was still paying attention, and he wanted our marriage to last. And, we did too in our hearts. We just didn't know how to get there. He answered the prayers. And I honestly believe that's what that was. It was a life-changing event. I don't even feel like the same person anymore. The world doesn't feel the same to me anymore. This event was actually if this would not have happened, I don't think I ever would have even opened myself up to the possibility of Sasquatch even existing. Because my worldview was very weird. Things like that didn't really exist. But they do. Now, I saw a few more orbs after that. In fact, 7 of us between my house and my neighbor's house had seen orbs over the next couple of years. I've actually seen about, I think, I counted the other day, I think 8 orbs altogether. Within the furthest one out was about a mile. I saw 2 of them in a cornfield about a mile away from my house. But it was a few years before, I think it was maybe 2017, 16, something like that. So maybe 4 years before the Sasquatch activity actually started around here. I don't know if they are connected. And you would think as a Christian that would be my go-to, that maybe they're Nephilim and maybe this and that and everything else. But I'm trying to stay as evidence-based as possible. Follow-up video, I'll go into more on how I do think things work when it comes to God and these creatures. I don't necessarily think there's anything special about the creatures themselves. But then again, I don't know. But, this is the story that changed my life, that opened me up to my worldview now, sent me down the road that I've gone down. The reason why I do this is because I feel like it's all been put in my life for a reason. And every time I've prayed about it and said, God, do I need to leave these Sasquatch things alone? Am I doing the right thing? a lot of times after that, I would have an interaction or get a good piece of evidence or something. And you think about all that and how I basically just have operated on faith this whole time and trying to go by signs, to go from not knowing anything about these creatures to getting to the point to where we meet enough people and learn enough information to find a habitat and to have a sighting. Not just one sighting, but 2 sightings in a day, 40 minutes apart, 3 of us, me and 2 other witnesses, Scott and Joe. You know, that's why I continue to do what I do, because I think I'm supposed to. It's not that I'm special. I just think my life has just molded me to be able to do this, and God just wants, for whatever reason, I don't really ask questions. All I know is I enjoy it, and I feel like I'm supposed to do it. So all in all, that's why I do what I do. And the people I surround myself with them because I think they're good people and they have good intentions. So very personal, but you know, this is serious business, and it's very personal. It's right here in my own backyard.